of Sydney FC. Unfortunately, he only played the 54 appearances for the Socceroos and only got the 19 goals, so not much to go on there. I think the best days were probably 99 and 2001 for the Northern Spirit. We'll get into that in a moment. Can you please welcome Graham Arnold?
You failed to mention my goals were scored against Tahiti, Solomon Islands.
Oh, yeah.
Oceania, that's mate.
Now,
It was real
That
tough.
was one game.
My name's not Archie Thompson.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good Kentucky tour, though.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It was fantastic. We went by cruise.
Paul Wade actually came in once when we did Cup Fever with that the shirt that we saw.
The Kinroo.
What the hell was going on there?
It's good, it was beautiful. I had... after we played New Zealand in Melbourne, I threw it into the crowd. They threw it back at me. Couldn't give them away.
Hey, just I know we've got so much to get through, but just on
lots to get
jumpers, because we had Josip Skoko here.
Josip.
Have you got, swapped jerseys with anyone of note in your whole career?
Diego Simeone.
Okay. Was that in the dreaded Abel Balbo game? It was at 93. We don't like to talk about that.
In Argentina.
Yeah.
Oh, but hang on, that had a good ending, though, didn't it, that one? And after the Argentina game, an unfortunate result, but then what happened?
Oh, we had a great night out.
Who invited you out?
Diego Maradona invited us out.
Seriously?
Well, a guy came to the hotel and he said, look, Mr. Maradona wants to invite you up for a few drinks, and we thought he was taking the mickey out of us. We turned up there and it was true. What a night.
Seriously,
Fantastic night. Yeah. The only one who could talk to him was Aurelio Vidmar.
Wow.
Right, okay.
Did he speak Italian with him?
yeah.
But Diego didn't like to party, though, did he? He was a pretty quiet guy.
So there was plenty of women sitting around him.
Of course there were.
And was most of the Argentinians side there?
All there.
They were all there.
All there,
Wow. That's pretty
I was
amazing.
lining up in the urinal next to Batistuta and Redondo and that, and I think I'm in good company.
Yeah. So we're playing 4-3-3 at the urinal.
At the end of that
They
night...
still won.
At the end of that night, Graham, did you think about just in the nightclub swapping shirts with anyone?
That's a great idea as well.
And some
You
nice
never
gear?
know what was in their pockets.
Yeah.
We came close to that World Cup.
came close.
We came within one goal.
Yeah. No, we did fantastically well. They scored a great goal. Balbo scored at Sydney, and Mark Bosnich was in goals. We drew 1-1, and Bozza then decided not to turn up for the away leg, and we lost 1-0 the own goal.
With that weird own goal swirling in the breeze. I'll never forget that. When I get my time machine, first place I'm going, don't you worry about it.
Really?
No, leave it alone. Yeah.
Everything in history, and you're
Yes.
going back to that moment to change.
Yes, I am.
Think of some other things, but that's fine.
Can we get on to Graham Arnold, please?
Let's start off with the A-League just last Saturday. Sensational game. Like one of the, it was an absolute beauty. We've heard that Milligan has just
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
We're not allowed to comment.
Not allowed to comment on it?
No.
Okay, so you're happy
match
about
review
it?
panel, we're not allowed to comment about them, we get fined. So.
Okay.
What if no one watches this show?
I didn't think anyone did till I saw Mark Viduka on here, and he said something that was in the media the next day. So.
Well, the Duke doesn't watch it because he doesn't have Foxtel.
I thought this seat must have been heated, he was sweating that much.
It's the grilling, it's the grilling from
No,
fans.
He was sweating so much that day. We had those guys from Morocco out.
Yeah, the service
trying to clear them out.
All right, so forget about that incident, though. Great game. That's
Great
3-3 to
game.
finish. Is that what you think on the sidelines? Are you thinking it's a great game?
I think it was a test between who was angry at me or Muskie that night. And, we're pretty grumpy at the best of times, but look, it was a fantastic spectacle, and Melbourne Victory, for me, they're the best team in the league. Exciting team, and they're the benchmark that we've got to try and get to, and we were very happy that we could get a 3-3 against them down here.
It is an A-League related question, but you did mention Mark Viduka before. When Mark spoke to us, and when we've spoken to a few other people about the old NSL, I mean, everyone speaks very highly of the A-League at the moment, but, people who have grown up playing in it speak very fondly of those times as well. And it's not just the nostalgia, it's because of the structures, everything that was set up there. A-League doing great stuff, but is there anything we can learn from the old structures that we had at NSL?
Well, you've got to look back at the old NSL and the structures that were in place, and that created the golden generation. So it's not like... Sometimes I feel there's a lack of respect for the old NSL, and, the A-League is doing great at the moment, but the old NSL created a lot of good footballers that went overseas and made the players made great careers out of it, and they were brought through the systems well, and as Mark said, I saw the show that night, he's at Melbourne Knights, and from Melbourne Knights, where you play from 8-year-olds all the way through to the first team, and the programs were in place.
And you were at Sydney United, and at what age did you start? How old were you when you were playing against, in the first team against grown men and that type of thing?
17, 18.
Okay, and you think that made did that make a big difference to you when you went to Holland first?
Yeah, especially when you played against Juventus and those guys and they're kicking the hell out of you. You learn how to run quick. But no, look, it was a good period in Australian football.
Right.
And but I think that what FFA had to do and close the old NSL down and come through the A-League was the right decisions. And who would have ever thought that tonight there's a FFA Cup game on full house in Adelaide against Perth Glory, and and the A-League's going.
When I look at someone like Matthew Leckie, though, who's over in the second division in Germany, I feel like that's somewhat comparable to the old days with you guys of going to Europe and fighting hard. Jednak went to Crystal Palace when they were in the Championship, getting in at a level that's not the top, fighting hard, working hard, and then like Robbie Cruz, you make those steps when you get there, having done the hard work. So Timmy Cahill, another example of that as well. Yeah,
look, I think there's been some bad cases that people look at, and when I say bad cases, it's Harry Kuehl, Lucas Neal and Craig Moore. They went straight from the Institute abroad.
Yeah, right.
But they're special. They were special talents. Mark Viduka stayed here and played NSL.
You were a special talent.
And
hey,
Graham,
come on.
I agree with you, mate. You weren't.
He's the hatchet man. He is the hatchet man.
Because you worked hard. You went. Ed mentions how did you get from Sydney United to Holland? How did you get recruited, or how did you get there?
Luckily, we went to the Olympics in '88, and Frank Farina, myself, and Robbie Slater got spotted there playing, and we got signed from there. But that's what international football does. And in those days we were in Oceania, and it was hard for anyone to get out. And but once we went into the bigger tournaments, and that was the first Olympics we qualified, and the first time football was played at Olympics in a long time, and that's where we got recruited.
I want to ask you, your playing career, we are all fascinated by.
You're being too nice to me tonight. Muskie warned me about you on Sunday.
Well, Graham, just be patient.
Here he comes. He comes to action. He comes to action.
No. This is a serious question. These are some of the players. These are some of the players that you played with throughout your career, and at the NSL and overseas. Jurakovic, Taliadoris, Viduka, Zabeka, Jankos. Zabeka, sorry. Jankos, Bosnich.
Pitbull's band.
Zabeka was someone I met at that Adelaide night.
They swapped shirts, apparently.
Bosnich, Popovic, Kalic, Jurakovic, Taliadoris. What was it like? Graham Arnold. What was it like being an ethnic minority?
Just you and Paul.
I'm glad I didn't have to fill out the team sheet.
How tough was it for you back then, mate? Were they nice to you?
That's why I grew a mullet.
To try and fit in.
They would have been great days. I mean, the legendary Frank Arrock and Eddie Thompson and Terry Venables as well. In terms of, did they stand you in good stead in terms of what they teach you getting out of Australia? I mean, in terms of a toughness?
Yeah, look, I think that's what the old NSL taught us. But look, in those days, Frank Arrock had this method of madness to have two teams. It was Australia A and Australia B.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was part of Australia B team. And I've mentioned this to FFA on numerous occasions, but I played 30 international games before I played one full international. So I played against Juventus, Glasgow Rangers. We went on trips all over Europe to develop us as footballers to get from the NSL to international football. So, these days it's tough because they go straight from the A-League straight up into international football, and the competition's much harder. The increase in the level is enormous. Not only on the tactical side and the technical side, but on the physical side is much tougher and much faster. So, we had good tutors in John Cosmina and Steve O'Connor and those guys, and it was two generations in one group under Frank Arrock and Eddie Thompson, and the older blokes taught us how to party hard, That's what we learnt the best off them.
Yeah, Santo teaches us. He's
to
be in bed by 8:30.
That's quite late for this.
An Asian Cup story you want to throw by?
I do. This is a serious thing, Graham, of course, because actually, managing now in the A-League and have been for a successful premiership. Yes. This is a story I saw, Graham, during the week about the Asian Cup, the unveiling of their benches.
Wow.
Thank God.
So that was in Tuesday in Brisbane, and these will be used for the first time at the Asian Cup. But then, after the tournament ends...
No way.
These will be adopted, and these will become the 12-seat benches for the A-League.
Hey!
Graham, how excited are you about your new seats?
That's the best news. It's not real comfortable sitting out the West Sydney Wanderers, and the fence is here, and you're there, and you've got a security guard sitting beside your face, and the other way he's not even watching the game.
No. Why would he? But the Western Sydney Wanderers fans, you're coach of Sydney FC. I imagine they're very happy to see you.
Oh, I'm delighted.
They must be delighted. There's nothing like, hey, Arnie, how you going?
Like when the security guard says to you halfway through the game, he says, "These people don't like you, do they?" then you know you're off.
Yeah, you might be onto something.
It must be great at Sydney FC at the moment because Del Piero's shadow has loomed large and dominates the discussion. To have a marquee player like Mark Yanko,
What a get!
What a fantastic
name! The captain of Austria. Amazing.
No, look, the recruit, the contacts in Europe, but he's taking time to settle. He'll only get better, Mark, during the year.
He's good though.
But that's a good. But it must be.
As tall as you.
But it must be a great.
Who are we talking to? Him?
What I'm saying is, it must be great not for the conversation to be dominated by one person, and it's your team's playing well. You don't need to worry about. Oh, here's another question about.
Yeah, look, I think there's quite a few distractions around the team with Alessandro, and Alessandro was fantastic for the club and the league. And but what I wanted to build when I went into Sydney was the club needs to be number one, the team needs to be number two, and the individual number three, and not the other way around. And so far so good. We're doing well. It's taking time. We've had a bad month in the last month with injuries, but we'll fight our way through it.
Well, we'll be able to let you go in a second, but I believe it's also congratulations are in order. You're getting married shortly.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wow, you are excited.
I know, because you and Zelko have been going out for a long time.
Oh, yeah! And on that note,
she says.
can you please thank Graham Arnold? We're back with more.